Hey guys. All right. I know if you saw my most recent tweet, then you might be a little bit surprised to see this stream. But I was fully planning on not streaming tonight. The initial plan was to stream, but I was editing. Sorry, I keep having a burp. Um I was editing for several hours and because I had that migraine all day yesterday, and part of the day before, I was really planning on just going to bed early tonight, taking the night to chill and just hang out. Um, but I was planning on getting on the server tonight anyway to prepare for tomorrow's reckoning. And then Levi messaged in the Discord and asked if anyone was going to be getting on, and then proceeded to mention that they would be streaming. So I was like, you know what? I am also going to stream. So, um, here we are. um, we are going to be decorating the house a little bit. I already got started a little bit. You might have heard me in the background. I started decorating the house a little bit with some paintings I had from the last reckoning. I put up this painting that is in the gallery, the like preset gallery. Um, I want to put a couple more similar to it around the house. I believe this one is Hazy Castle. And then this one over here is actually a drawing that 8 did of myself, 8, Finn, and Levi. So essentially both of our couples. Although technically 8 and Finn are not together, but 8 does have a secret little crush on Finn. Don't tell Finn. I only know because 8's my brother. So I get to know that shit. But yeah. So it's a cute little painting. I decided I'd put that up. I'm gonna put a couple more paintings up here. I think. I want to put a couple little areas just to fill up the space up here. Um, I don't know if that's all we're going to be doing today. I know I want to meet up with Levi and 8 because we have a couple things to talk about. Um, but things should be interesting. I do actually. We talked about this last time. Better vanilla building custom items list. I want to look up what you can name them. Because they know all the names. Um, Sorry, Billie Eilish. We're not going to listen to Hostage right now. Um, Hostage is just a little too slow right now. Oh, you know what? Here, yeah. Let's listen to Hungover in the City of Dust. I'm feeling it. Um, let's see. Oh, you know what? They might be listed on the actual Better Vanilla Building website, possibly. Actually, never mind. We're also not listening to Montero. There we go, Jenny by Walk the Moon. Let's do it. Jenny's got a body just like an hourglass. Taking my time, I wanna be the sand inside that hourglass. I know they have the angel set and then the crimson set. I wonder, is it just crown? Oh wait, Mycelia is currently closed off for anyone who wants to come over. Let me know so I can retrieve you from the entrance. Oh, shit. Oh, wow. Okay. I don't even have the iron to name this. I might have to go... Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop by Levi's. Let me do that. As the rest of the world fades out. This is gonna be a little bit treacherous because of their iron golems. But... Oh well. Tempted, but I'm not gonna. Oh, it's the Fletcher. I was like, what the fuck is that noise? It's the Fletcher hard at work. Damn. You know who's been hard at work? Levi. Shit. This place is really upgraded. Yeah, I'm gonna stop by and say hi.
Bestie.
Hi, bestie.
How'd you get over here without dying?
There actually weren't any guys around. Other than the guy inside, but that's neither here nor there.
Not good. I'm not paying my security enough.
True.
The fuck?
Sorry.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I have 0 iron, so
some iron?
please. I wasn't gonna ask, but I mean, if you're gonna offer, damn, you're just gonna throw 32 blocks at me? Shit.
There's more where that came from.
Highballing. Oh, okay, so I got a sugar daddy. Damn, okay. Fuck.
Where did I put... I don't know where I put my fucking stuff.
Oh. Is he dangerous?
Wait, sorry, I'm totally not paying attention to you because I'm trying to get the volume. What'd you say?
Is he dangerous?
Not to me.
I wonder.
Oh, what?
Well, that answers that. I backed up. Albeit not very quickly, but I backed up. Well, he didn't start at first, so I thought it was fine.
That's what they all say. It's fine. I gotta relocate this thing anyway. Don't worry about it.
There, I rebuilt it partially. I'm sorry for breaking it.
It's okay. It happens.
I should have some dirt that I can give you.
Oh, I have plenty of dirt to fix it.
Okay, here,
I'm gonna move that thing anyway, so it's not ugly.
Okay. I know it was a couple further, but there aren't any rails anymore, so.
It's whatever. Oh wait, okay, never mind.
So what are you up to, oh husband mine?
Oh husband mine, I am just kind of restocking up because I lost a lot of stuff on. I accidentally burned it all.
You accidentally burned it all? What'd you do?
I was getting some netherite, and then I
Did you fall in lava?
Myself up, yeah.
Oh, oh, damn.
Yeah. So I gotta restock. I got most of my tools back, but I need my armor now. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
What did you have? Did you have like netherite stuff or diamond stuff?
Got This. Oh wait, I didn't actually make a sword. That's the only one I have. Everything I lost was diamond, but I got 1 ingot out of it. So I mean,
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
Got
If
something
you,
out of it.
yeah. But yeah, I was gonna go see if my XP farm is working. If you would like to come,
I would love to come.
I bet you would.
I would actually. By the way, I've been meaning to ask, how do you do the like colorful
Oh,
firewood?
these?
Yeah.
Like how they're bamboo?
This is bamboo?
Are you using better vanilla?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is bamboo right now. And unfortunately it's a biome thing rather than you rename it.
Oh,
So for
okay.
like this is in the bamboo biome, and then this is in the river biome, which is why it's normal. And then the ones over here are jungle wood because they're in the jungle, and it's
Oh,
bothering me
that
so
explains the
badly.
ones over there as well. Okay.
Yeah, I really wish that they were consistent and I could change them to whatever I wanted, but no, they're
Oh,
biome based. It's stupid.
that is stupid.
But yeah, I noticed a lot of your stuff is dark oak and stuff, which looks really good, but obviously you don't have control over it.
Yeah.
This is
So,
the
do
farm.
you know what the deal is with Mycelia being closed?
No. I just assumed it was construction or something with the way the 8 put it, but I am quite a bit curious.
Yeah, as am I. I mean, I didn't expect 8 to be on. I think we'll definitely have to chat with 8 as well. I mean, we were gonna
Yeah.
talk anyway, but I think we should definitely talk to 8 as well.
I think we should snoop.
Yeah, definitely. Since we don't have the threat of honey being on this time, definitely.
Yeah. I trust 8, but I'm still curious what's going on, especially if we're allied. We need to know.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been in range for this to be growing the cactus, but it's otherwise working, so eventually it stores all the bamboo and the cactus and it smelts it and then you get XP.
Oh
Oh.
shit.
But yeah, I gotta get all the cactus growing first, which takes forever.
Mm.
Ah! Sometimes I think cactus is like magma blocks where you can crouch and it doesn't hurt, but that's not the case.
Yeah, I don't think that would be how that would work in
No.
any reality.
Yeah. Well, how much bamboo's in here? Because it hasn't been used yet, so there's gotta be. Wait, what? What? There's only 10? Did I take it out at some point? Oh, no, it's in. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Well, anyways. Kinda at a standstill with a lot of stuff. So do you want to wander over to Mycelia?
Sure, why not?
Let's do it.
Ooh, you know what? We might want to sneak over into Blitz's place too, because remember we couldn't find where Blitz had their items?
Oh, true.
Might want to see if we can figure out where Blitz is keeping their belongings.
We'll have to be careful though, because they're online.
Yeah, yeah. Oh god. We've been spotted.
Why? Iron Golem, you mean?
No. Guess who's in my chat?
Oh no, who's in your chat?
Blitz.
Oh god. Oh. Oh, by the way, you should probably run.
Yeah, I saw him.
That was funny.
I was almost in arm distance.
That's not good, bestie.
Is this the right direction?
No, not at all. We passed it.
I knew I got distracted by the big man. I also
Yeah,
have
we were
not been
right
that way
there.
before. That's cool.
Yeah, I've added a lot this way. There wasn't much before.
I saw when you were streaming, what was it, yesterday? I saw the kids running around up in the treetops. That was sick.
Yeah, they're fun. The village is expanding. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
The economy is growing.
I promise, Blitz, we are doing no such dastardly deeds.
Nah.
We would never
August
do
9th.
such a thing.
Dastardly? Like, we don't even know that word.
No. You know who you should be worried about? Funny and Honey. Their names rhyme, and that in and of itself is worrying.
Exactly. Goofy shit. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wait, why do I see a bunch of... Okay.
What?
Uh-oh. On my maps, I see a bunch of... shit. Massilia is not currently accepting any travelers. Per the king, Massilia has been closed for 4 moons. Busy in real life. Don't touch my shit. Thanks.
Ah, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, because they're going on a... Whoa. That was very loud. They're gonna be doing a thing tomorrow, so they're not gonna be here tomorrow. So this must be their way of being like, haha, kick him in.
That's... Oh, yeah, true, because the reckoning.
Yeah.
They wouldn't wanna...
Huh.
Well, I wanna annoy ye. How am I supposed to annoy
Great minds.
now? Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong.
Oh, I see him on the map. What are they doing?
Ding dong.
Hello.
Hi.
You told us not to come, so we wanted to come more.
Yeah. Alright. There's a couple of obstacles, but...
Oh, okay. More deterrent. I got you.
Well, yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, so this is what you... Okay. I couldn't see what you were doing, but I saw you backing up from the distance, and I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah. It's not, like, a difficult thing, but, like, it's still good enough to deter people.
Mm.
And from then, it's pretty... nothing.
Oh, so kind, letting me go in first.
I know, I'm... Anyways.
I forgot about the height difference for a moment.
What the heck?
Whoa, is this new?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Oh,
this
it's the
being.
church.
Yep.
The church? You have a church?
Yeah.
Organized religion?
I mean, a little.
Wow. What do you guys pray to?
That information has not been disclosed to the public yet due to the church still being built.
Oh,
That makes
okay.
sense.
Bye. My bibble. My
Bibble?
bibble. Yeah, you wrote in my bibble.
No, I didn't. I didn't do that.
Bibble, you're a genius.
Bibble.
Where?
No, I'm a chicken.
I
don't think
feel
so.
left out. My crown got ruined. Don't tell my people though. They might
Oh.
think that that means like I'm not king anymore. I don't need enough prize. I'd like to think they like me as king, but I don't really want to find out if the role. Wait, why does it look like a penis?
Hey.
Oh, it's a very odd penis. But it's okay. I would
But-
never let them overthrow you.
Thank you.
I would torture them before they could even try.
Aww,
Oh,
so romantic.
interesting.
Listen, you show your love in different ways than I do.
Yeah.
I got no one to show my love to.
That's
That
true.
sounds like a you problem.
It is. It really is.
Well, you know, if you had just manned up and expressed your love to Finn before he went on his adventure, then we wouldn't be here, would we?
Ooh, I got to look after the kingdom for a little bit. And that's a step.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
that means
fair.
he trusts you,
America.
so it's fair.
Sorry, why
Oh
am I
shit!
Italian?
Oh
Hold
wait!
on. Fuck, I just realized that I'm Italian. Not
You're
even
French.
Italian. Or French, that's even worse. I hate the French.
Ooh, gross.
That's just asking for a revolution.
Wait, that means I'm Irish, cause my colors are like orange and green.
I'm the
I mean, on my
Italian.
flag, it's more just like.
Is that more That's
Gr-
Poland.
I
Not
mean,
Poland.
no, that's Russia.
Russia.
Yeah.
Oh, you definitely don't want to be
Zitka.
Russia.
Wait, hold on. I gotta grab food.
White. Blue bread? Nope.
Okay.
You know, that's a lot more difficult.
Oh my God, no!
What?
My mom made a TikTok. My other mom made a TikTok.
Oh,
Now they're both following me.
that's not good.
I need this to stop. I need my family to stop making TikToks. How am I supposed to make thirst traps if I know my family's following me? Bullshit.
Block 'em.
Anyways.
That's my villager. He's the first ever villager, and I made him a preacher.
And you
Wow.
just fucking sucker punched him.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Shows how much you care about your church.
Hey,
Yeah.
About your
Respect
clergyman.
people. I can teach you how to run a respectful village.
oh, did he up my prices for that?
Yeah.
That
of
is
course he did.
hilarious.
Asshole. Don't. This is why I don't use villagers.
I'd
It's a
comment,
great
but I
asset if
can't.
You're just kind to them.
Anyways, this is what I've been working on.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I don't know what else I've been doing. I can't remember. I don't think I've been doing anything else. I think the only time I get on is to work on the church. Hallelujah.
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 Mmm. Red concrete.
Why is there an umbrella on your ceiling?
Oh, for fun. What are you guys doing?
No,
It's,
that
I think it's a neurodivergent thing to need to open every chest of every room that you're ever in Minecraft.
yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh,
got
this
one of
one's very
those
nicely organized.
fancy, got one of those fancy, I got one of those fancy,
You'll get there. You'll get there.
smithing tables.
I don't know. I might.
I'm gonna look around.
I don't know what a smithing table is. Is that the thing that you put to with the other thing to create netherite?
Yeah, to upgrade.
Oh, no, I haven't made one. Do I have loose iron? Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Exactly.
I have to heal another villager, which means I have to get another apple, which means I have to. It's a long process.
Yeah. Oh well.
It's in my storage room now. Levi's gone. Levi's way out of earshot. Gosh darn it. August,
What's up?
what you doing?
Nothing.
Doing?
Hello.
Hey,
What?
that's my diary.
What's your diary?
That you took my diary.
What are you talking about?
The diary that's no longer in my shulker.
Well, I'll just tell you, the bird must have taken it.
Yo, Tomato, you know better than that.
You should probably question him thoroughly.
What the heck, Tomato? Don't do that. You can't. I knew it!
What?
Tomato, you can't eat the paper. I feed you paper once a week.
Listen to that? He's chomping on it right now. You hear that shit?
I'm starting to hear it, but it's coming from the opposite direction.
Listen to that? It's unbelievable.
Tomato.
No.
Tomato.
No.
Tomato.
No.
Tomato.
No.
Oh,
Ah, your tomato
why
had a
are
baby.
you so fertile?
Your tomato had a baby.
You're right. I'm fertile. Wink.
Ah! They're both fertile!
What the fuck?
I don't think that's how anatomy works.
I don't think anyone had the talk with 8.
I mean, he's your brother. I think that's your thing.
I wasn't gonna do it.
I'm not gonna do it.
What?
What?
It's
What are
hard
you
enough to
talking
be an
about?
in-law and get family to approve of you. I'm not gonna have that talk.
The birds and
Aww.
the bees? I know about the birds and the bees.
One of the rotten tomatoes just pushed tomato out.
Stop playing with Tomato!
No!
Look at him jump though.
Look at him jump! That's so cute.
He's having a party.
Be
Hell
nice
yeah.
to Tomato. It's not even his real name. It's his code name.
Oh, the other one's sitting on the chair.
He's in witness protection. I had to give him another name.
Oh, what's he in witness protection for?
Can't tell you.
Oh. Gesundheit.
Truly. Where's my? Can I have my diary?
I don't have it.
Yeah, you do.
No.
Levi, do you have my diary? What the
what does it
heck?
look like?
Like a diary?
Oh my
God,
god, that is
mushrooms stuffed in them?
hilarious.
What?
Oh, he moved. Fuck, I was gonna take a photo.
All I have is this book with a bunch of mushrooms on it.
Yeah, I bet that's mine.
And
I don't know
also,
what this
and
book
also, it
is.
looks like it's got a weirdly drawn photo of this guy covered in ice.
What?
What?
Oh, we got
Ow!
some fan art in here.
Whoa!
No, I
Got some
no,
art of your
no,
of your
I don't.
crush.
Hey, hey.
Oh my gosh! And on the back, it's got him
Here,
kissing a
wait,
guy covered in mushrooms.
La 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 la.
See, this is why I never learned how to read and
My
write. No one can read your diary if you don't know how to read. Wait, if you don't know
Probably
how
just a
to
bunch
write.
of pictures. Probably just a bunch of pictures of you and August kissing. My diary.
Ah, no. Our
Yeah, it
relationship is strictly political. Excuse you.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
We have video proof of it being political.
What does that mean? Sounds very counterproductive.
We have a video of me literally asking you to marry me.
Right.
Strictly
Yeah.
for politics.
Mhm.
Yeah, that.
Strictly for politics.
Strictly
Yeah.
politics.
Not like I've totally haven't seen you two smooching each other on the cheeks or anything.
No.
We
no,
would never. I don't know.
I don't
What's
Yeah,
Sean
you
about?
that.
would. Yeah, you
What?
would. Yeah,
No.
you would. I
I-
know all about what you guys did last festival.
What?
What-
Last festival is another. That was like
mhm.
just a good time amongst friends. In
Was it?
general,
Was it a good time?
It.
I bet it was a great time for you.
But, so do you have a smithing table? Cause I haven't found
Yeah,
one
I
yet.
mean,
I mean, yeah, I told you I put it in the house of
the House of
storage.
Horrors, because that's what this is
Oh.
feeling like.
Why?
I don't know where your storage house is. I forgot.
It's the
You have way too many buildings. How am I supposed to keep them all straight?
It's the ugly one.
yeah.
Nothing is ugly here.
That
what
one.
do you mean?
The first one I built that I'm
Oh,
not a
it's
big
right
fan of
here.
this
Has
one.
it always been
Ooh.
here?
No.
Oh,
I could have
There.
just gaslit you. That would have been kind of funny.
I'd believe you, cause I'm stupid.
Yeah, I know.
I can't even take offense. I said it first.
That's Tails. Put him back.
I want more art for my jungle kingdom.
Yeah, I have to upload some art. I put some art in my house. I put the art of us four, and then I put that was actually so perfectly positioned so you could just see him doing his thumbs up top. But then I put the one called, I think it was like Hazy Castle. I put that one in my house as well.
Yeah.
I want more of us, but I forget to like get them printed at Walmart.
Yeah.
True.
Here, how about when we reach our 6-month anniversary, I'll get you some.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know when our anniversary is.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to read, let alone read a calendar. I go by the moon cycles. Sometimes I sleep through those, so I don't really know what day it is.
I'll put a physical calendar up in your house.
Okay.
And I'll circle the date, and every day you can cross the day off until it gets to important days, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Can you put my birthday down?
I don't know when your birthday is. I don't know what day it is today.
You're not gonna be able to write your birthday either. You're gonna have to put a specific symbol. And
Yeah, you gotta put a mushroom.
yeah, put a mushroom and let them know the mushroom means it's your
With,
birthday.
like, a party hat.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Mushroom with party
That'd
hat.
be cute.
Yeah.
Mushroom dance. Mushroom dance.
Whatever could it mean?
Means you
What?
lived a life of sin.
What?
You've never heard that?
No.
It's what they used to tell me back home.
What?
Yeah.
Just
I
Yeah,
lived in
when
a really, really big mushroom with all
Yeah.
my siblings. Told August about it.
yeah.
We have family
wait, August
bonding
wasn't
nights.
there for that?
Mm-mm.
We're not biological siblings.
What? How did I not know this?
See, this is why this is a political marriage. Because this is something you would have known by now.
We don't even have similar hair.
You dye your. Oh, I'm sorry. You dye
Wow.
yours.
My hair is naturally white.
We don't
Well,
even have the same eye
His
color.
His could be naturally
I
white
say
too,
wearing a
August.
mask.
Yeah.
You guys. How was I supposed to know? How? I never went to school. I don't know things about biology.
Well, you at least know enough that you've got a very much
Oh my god, I'm so
thriving
sorry.
and big population in your
Yeah.
kingdom.
Y'all be breeding up in there.
See, that's the thing is
Fucking
we didn't have
That's
health
a good
class
point.
though, so we don't know how to stop breeding.
Oh, okay, so you're just running on instinct.
Yeah,
That
pure
actually
instinct.
that actually fits very well. That fits
Yeah,
you guys
It's
to a T.
entirely just survival instinct. We
That
just
makes a lot of
so we can
sense.
have a big village that can provide for each other, and that's about it.
Mm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
It does make a lot of sense.
Yeah. We just realized that we need a job done. We say, okay, make a baby for it, and then
Oh.
bam, baby.
But then you
grows
have to
up,
wait for the baby to get old enough to do the job.
And it takes basically 20 minutes.
Okay.
What?
I mean,
I
that's
don't know
with
what
your
kind of babies you guys are popping out, but
advanced breed.
oh, all right.
You wouldn't understand.
You know what? You're right. I wouldn't understand.
Yeah, jungle's crazy, man.
Damn. Oh.
What are you doing? What? Huh? Is that my string?
Whoa.
Is that my son?
Whoa.
They're animals. What is that? Why do you just have an empty bucket?
Uh-oh.
You fool, I'm gaining.
Oh.
What?
You needed water.
Bath time.
Wait, what? Hold on a second here. Are you about to strip down in front of your own brother?
I can't fit in. Here, you get in. There you go. Wait,
Do
you don't have a sponge, do you?
Clothes
Negative.
bathing.
Ah. Well, we'll have to use hay. Scrub, scrub, scrub. Scrub, scrub.
This disturbs me more though that I know you're not biological brothers.
You can't escape the bath aid.
Should I be worried?
No. You should not be worried. It's like,
Okay.
think of it like frat brothers.
Sure.
I've got myself stuck.
Now
Oh,
see, this
my
escape
apologies.
may work for you guys, but it wouldn't work for me.
That is true.
Mine.
That is true.
I'll just be up here with my weakling arms, which aren't weak. They just are confused.
They're just confused.
It's like they see a piece of stone and they just question mark?
They have no clue what stone is.
Pretty much.
Not at all.
That's kind of concerning.
It's fine.
Don't even worry about it. Oh, I see the umbrella you were talking about.
Umbrella.
This is confusing.
No, it's not. It's pretty self-explanatory. I think my umbrella is pretty self-explanatory. Sometimes I'm hanging out in here and I need an umbrella before I walk out. For various reasons.
Huh. Okay.
Levi thinks Levi should start using Levi as pronouns. Do you guys
Real?
agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Levi's self also agrees.
Real.
Do you have any good? You don't have any good ones.
What? I'm broke.
Oh, so before we came over here and rudely interrupted your building process 8.
I wouldn't say rude.
Um
Levi wouldn't say rude.
that was like half real. So, my apologies. But we had the idea to go and snoop at Blitz's place because
Oh, that's right. That's right.
because Blitz
Levi
is
and you did have
on.
that idea.
Because Blitz is on. And as you might remember, last time we couldn't find any of Blitz's belongings, so maybe since they're on, we'll be able to figure out where they're keeping their stuff. It'll obviously have to be a reconnaissance mission.
What does that word mean?
Like a sneaky mission. I'm just gonna throw a lot of my stuff in here.
So smart.
Thank you. It's because I read.
Oh.
that didn't mean to be a dig. I was about to immediately say afterwards, it's okay, I'll teach you to read, but but I stopped myself.
Wore a nice hat.
Very good. I'm so proud of you.
Hold on, I need to fill my soups.
I'll write you very basic little books that you can start out with, okay?
Yay! Write me good stories.
I will. I will. What kind of stories do you want?
I want adventure stories.
Okay. I'll think of some adventure stories for you, and I'll drop them off sometime.
Yay! Wait, but you can't just drop them off. You gotta tell me how to read first.
Well, I'm gonna there's gonna be a couple that are like.
8 private messaged me some words, but I don't know what they say.
Okay. Can you copy them? Or do you want to try and sound them out?
I don't know the link. I don't know the alphabet, so I can't really.
Oh, you don't. Okay.
Yeah, no. You gotta
Sorry, I don't.
Square one.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know what level you were at.
No. No. I only recognize certain things that I've just seen repetitively. You know, but I don't. It's like more like association than it is reading.
Okay. Well, it looks like 8. Is 8 coming back? It looks like 8's coming back, so we can ask them what they messaged you.
Okay. 8.
Yeah.
What did you message me? I can't read.
The dog jumped over the log.
Oh, okay. Now, how do you want to explain how you got that answer?
You're not the teacher here.
Wait.
THE space DOG space JUMPED space ODR.
Our lessons are being interrupted.
Wait, there's no bed in here. Shit, I'm gonna.
Nah.
Oh wait, I know where there's a bed.
Oh, Blitz is sleeping.
Blitz is a sleeper. I'm not. I've been working.
Couldn't be me.
This is the only time mobs spawn here.
But yeah, I'll give you a bunch of different books. I'll give you a book with the alphabet, with some basic words.
Yay!
We'll practice sounding things out.
Can you write the word jungle?
No. Well, you missed it. I was telling August I never really learned the alphabet, but I do know certain words out of association because I saw them a lot. So like the signs in my jungle that lead you places, like I know what those say because I just have seen them all my life and I know where they go. But like I can't read the letters. I just know what the shape means.
All right, so do we want to start our little mission?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need blocks. And to put away my diary.
Gripes at us for stealing diary. Also almost takes diary on sneaky mission.
Sounds like stealing your own diary, stupid.
What am I supposed
to? Nothing.
Nothing.
I have so many things on me that I don't know. I probably shouldn't right now, but it's fine.
Yeah, I dropped almost everything off in the, can you let me do please? Thank you. The struggles of a tall person.
Don't have to brag about it, gosh.
But, I left all my stuff in the end chest.
Ah, you're smart.
Thank you. Everything but my crown and some bread. Bread.
I have soups.
Ooh, soups.
I have 2 axes as well. I don't know why.
I got this baby.
It's very active in the nether today.
Yeah, looks like it.
Who? What?
Sounds like it.
Lots of mobs in the nether, like, being loud today.
I don't know. The nether kind of tastes like ash.
Oh, whoa.
And a bit of sulfur.
Oh,
Which
whoa.
is the most pleasant.
There was just casually 2 potions of regeneration 2. 2 paintings and 9 amethyst shards.
Someone left a ton of stuff in there. I thought it was yours.
Odd.
I don't know. If they were, I don't remember.
That sounds like you.
Yeah, it does. I just have, like, big gaps in my memory from all the alcohol use. What?
Should I be concerned?
Ew, they're kissing.
Oh my god!
We're having a civil conversation.
We're literally 6 feet apart because we're not gay, okay? So...
Bullshit. Bullshit.
My husband is literally concerned for my health, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're kissing.
Oh my god, they're kissing!
Okay, and?
Can't wait for Finn to be back so we can make fun of you. Ah, I bet you do, gay.
Mom! You're making fun of me again.
Wait, who's your mom?
It's Blitzy Witsy. I'm gonna press your buttons.
I see
the name.
I hear a fox.
I don't.
You hear a fox?
I don't know what fox sound like though,
Whoa!
because we don't know what the fox
Wow.
Holy shit, that like went up overnight.
Boy, oh boy.
What, it wasn't there yesterday?
Well, it wasn't there last week.
True.
Metaphorically
But
last night.
yeah.
Oh, this looks so good.
Whoa.
It's absolutely wild that Blitz can build.
Seriously.
I just think it's crazy.
I don't mean to alarm you, but I think we're being stalked.
He's watching us.
What? Oh.
Assert dominance!
Well then.
I think it's a peace offering. Wait, where'd you you go? Did you guys just abandon me?
No, I was checking out the house.
Better.
I wanted to see how much really got done, other than the outside. Looks cool, though. I don't know where... Oh. What the...
Did Abe just shit on his yard? Did you just shit on his yard?
No, that's not...
A true dominance assertion.
I can just grow it, you know?
Yeah, but it kind of feels like you're just shitting on his yard.
A little bit. Truth be told, I forgot that the portal lands us right in the middle of the castle, so this is a little bit of a pickle.
But anyways.
That way, technically, I think. Yep, it's that way.
Cool. Oh shit! Oh, we got company.
What?
We got a friend. Friendo.
Oh. Oh, hello.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Thank you. That made my day.
You're welcome.
It's the tism. Where'd Blitz go?
Chicken.
Whoa.
What's
What's
down
what
here?
do we all do down here?
We found Blitz's burrow.
Oh. That makes sense.
Ugh, Jesus, my head is hitting every single one. Gonna get a concussion at this rate.
Just
That's what you
stop
get.
being tall.
Yeah.
You know what? It's moments like this that make me want to drink again. What is that? Jesus fuck, it's dark down here. I'm gonna have to fucking have a talk with Blitz. Have they never heard of a torch? Like, what is this?
Trying to care about the well-being of my husband.
Hello.
Hello.
I went down to a certain depth and then I just couldn't deal with the darkness anymore. Now I have a bone to pick with Blitz over this said darkness.
Did you find any secrets?
No, I didn't.
Are there any secret? I already looked, there's nothing down there.
Damn. It goes really far down. I feel like it'd be kind of obnoxious to have it down this staircase even further.
Right. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Wait, where did Blitz go? Over here, okay. Blitz, I have a bone to pick with you. Do you not know what a torch is? Because that entire hallway is pitch black. And that is absolutely horrific. I don't understand what the fuck is going on in your little fox brain. But you need to get something fixed up there because holy hell, buddy.
8's playing with dogs.
Well, I can give you coal. This is like that's a lot. That's a whole staircase to hell. And not a single torch. At this rate, you're gonna trip down the steps and just like just bounce your way down. That's unsurprising, honestly. Do you just hold this singular torch going all the way down? Or do you not even bother? Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. I feel like I'm more disappointed in you than I get disappointed in 8, and 8's my brother. This is ridiculous. Gotta say, this is a pretty area, though.
Come on, puppy.
I'm sorry, did you claim a dog?
Hmm?
Hey, did you claim a dog?
What?
Is that your dog?
What? What?
You know, I want to be surprised. I really do, but the fact that you went to an entire different kingdom and picked up a stray is just so much like you.
Look at him! Hey!
You realize I'm gonna be the one that has to take care of him, right? Because you're gonna be away on business for a few days? Uh-huh.
Hey.
See, he growled. He doesn't even like the idea. Look and
No,
see!
that's because Blitz punched him.
No, he's totally over the Blitz thing.
No, he's not. Did you see that?
He just wanted a kiss.
Fuck.
See? Look at that.
I don't know. Blitz's wounds look less like.
It's like he's like his parent. He can't get over his crushes.
Hey!
Are you guys talking about crushes again? This is so much. This is too
He's
much.
taunting me. He's being mean to me. I got a dog. Look
You
at
got
my
a dog?
Yeah, I was bullying him via his
Is it a
dog.
nice dog?
Not towards
Oh, yeah.
Blitz.
To be fair, Blitz punched him.
I fell off a cliff.
You fell off.
Yeah.
El Bozo.
Wait. Wait.
Bro, he is
Yo, dog.
furious with you.
It don't bite.
Yes, it do. Yeah, give him some flesh. If he's anything like his father, he is immediately appeased by that flesh.
I see how it is. What if I gave you money?
My dog?
Yeah. How do you be
let
nice
him
to
let him
dogs?
buy his way to freedom.
I've never interacted with dogs before. How do you
Oh yeah, you're a cat person. Both literally and in personality.
Yeah. And in worship.
True.
Oof. That's rough, buddy.
You need to talk to him. He's holding way too many grudges.
Him
Yeah,
and
I
I will
think your
have a talk over.
I think your dog needs therapy.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's not healthy.
I think I fucked up my soup.
Is he coming for you?
Ah! Get your dog!
uh,
I was just trying to have a snowball fight.
Don't have a snowball fight with my dog.
Wait, why can't I?
That's a one-sided snowball fight. He can't throw snowballs
I
back
can't
at you.
hit you guys, but I can hit the dog? That's not fair. Oh, I didn't even notice the house has a bridge.
What?
Look.
I
Whoa.
want to get on the bridge.
Like 3 dogs before you, you might die.
Well, that's cool.
Oh, it's gonna be a tavern?
Get it?
I want.
Mortality.
Is it gonna serve non-alcoholic drinks?
Who needs non-alcoholic? You do.
I do.
Listen.
I mean, you can, not you, 8 can attest you don't want me back where I was.
That's true.
I don't think I do. I don't want to find out.
Blitz. I sell many a drugs.
Now hold
I sell
on.
many a drugs. If you would like any for the bar, hit me up.
Hey, have you ever been to a bar before? Actually,
The answer is yes, but only to get
Yeah.
me.
That's also true.
I was about to judge you, but then I remembered buying drugs at a bar, so I guess you're not entirely wrong.
Who is it?
Common.
Oh.
What the fuck? Get off the ground!
I've been pushed.
Get all dirty.
Anyways, mortality exists, and you need to be wary of your mortality.
I think 8's scaring the dog.
You need to be aware that I can take you out of this world.
We
Put you in this world, I can take you out of it.
This is my dog. This is my dog's friend. Hey.
we.
Are you gonna behave now? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's getting serious. Damn.
See, I gave him a little bit of a talk, and he's alright.
Yeah, alright.
Where did
I
he
wish
go?
I was given that talk.
What?
Where did he go?
Why do you need to be given that talk?
Oh, this might have been nice to hear before my parents died in front of me.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, hello. Do you see him sticking his head through?
Oh!
That's kind of funny.
Fear of morality is fun. Whoa!
Aw, smiley face.
Nose.
That's cute.
Eyebrows.
Oh shit.
It looks like the Kool-Aid man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool dog. Dog's pretty MF swag. Hey! Oh, I thought that was a sword.
I would not kill your dog. Not unless provoked.
Liz.
My boat.
Sorry.
Pranked.
What the fuck? Here's your boat.
Thanks.
I can't remember Blitz. Do you have any allies?
Yeah. Blitz has some.
Ow.
Isn't Blitz part of that one? You know, the one. Oh.
Very specific.
Oh. The one.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do. Which one are they talking about? Levi, which one
Ray and Ray and I will have a talk with mostly Ray though. Couldn't tell Ray on you.
Oh shit.
I'm telling your dad. I'm telling your dad.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. I'm telling your dad.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna tell your dad. Yeah, I'm telling your dad because him and I, you know what him and I do? Go fishing together on the weekends. That's true. Ray and I do in fact go fishing together on the weekends.
Why didn't I know about this?
I actually did know about this.
What?
It's a fun fact. Yeah. I know. I'm not
Why
usually
did
the one
no
who knows
one tell me
things.
about the fishing trips?
We have fishing trips on the weekends.
No one told me about the fishing trips.
Well,
Okay,
Am I just not cool enough for the fishing trips?
no. It's more of like a hangout sesh. And you're my big brother, so you know.
Oh, okay, okay. I get it.
Wait a second. If you weren't born from the same mom,
You're still trying to figure this out. The
how are you
wires are so crossed in
brothers?
your head.
How did that happen?
Emotionally.
How do you emotionally become brothers, though?
Like,
Damn, you are moving so unbelievably fast.
whoa.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh shit.
I got you.
I do a lot of things that you guys don't know about.
Yeah, like what?
Drugs.
I knew about that one.
That one's to be expected.
Yeah, you talk about that one a little bit.
You do talk about that one a lot. You also openly sell them.
That's true.
Yeah, I know a few people you deal to.
Yeah.
That's true.
You literally have an entire stall at the spawn market.
That's true, yeah. Hey, acid isn't there yet. I haven't ported acid over.
I do natural drugs.
Like
That's
weed?
different. Like weed and like roots and leaves and stuff that you like put and it makes you feel really good. It's all medicinal. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like you see this? You just roll this stuff up, take some flint and steel, and you feel really good.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Look, Leva, come over and we can try some funner stuff. I got acid. I got
But
shrooms.
I don't want to put anything in me
No.
that's not natural.
This next one's gonna be real natural. It's called shrooms.
Okay.
It does some crazy stuff. It's pretty cool. It's pretty solid.
I'll believe you.
I'll look you up with some, but you know.
Okay. We'll
The
have
dog just
fishing
broke
trip.
up the conversation.
Yeah, fuck you.
Hey. Sometimes Ray and I just
I think Blitz had enough of it.
Ray and I just go.
Yeah.
And we go out fishing and it's so fucking chill.
Nice. I'm taking you up on that.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about drugs?
I'm gonna go look for a flower. Bluey? Why are they talking about Bluey? Okay, I see red flowers. Oh, I see yellow. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna dye the color orange and see if 8 notices.
That's what you want.
Hey, it's very magical.
Yeah, alright. That makes sense. My gods are just big cats, but like, you do you. That's why I wanna go to the desert. I heard that pharaohs worship cats
What?
too.
What's up?
Mm. It's almost noon.
What?
Don't stare at the sun!
It's fine.
No, it's not. Ah! Ah! Ah!
Oh my
No.
god.
Why are you orange?
Oh, Jesus.
Who the fuck?
What
Here, I'll
the
help you.
fuck?
I'll help
Holy, he is growly.
you. Crowley, more like Crowley. I don't know.
Growly.
My boat leaves at noon.
Your boat leaves at noon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, your boat.
My boat.
What's the boat?
Alright. Dog and I have to head out.
When will we see you again?
I do not have
Head
text to speech enabled. Sorry, Semi.
this moon. Another moon. Oh. Ooh, it looks yummy.
Your dog is now orange. He is so pissed.
It's how dogs act towards cats. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, that's so true. Thank you. This is the best birthday ever. Happy 8 months. Don't growl at me. I didn't do shit.
I think 8 forgot the question.
I don't even know if 8 exists in the brain anymore. So, we've been here for a little bit. Do we want to, take your new dog and leave Blitz to it?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Is it the shrooms?
Okay. Well, you get your dog, and let's get out of here, okay?
I'm gonna get a
Okay,
head start.
okay. Phew, okay.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I'll be
Thank
back
you
in
for
a little bit.
hosting us, Blitz. We'll
Thanks,
come
Blitz. See you in
visit
a bit,
soon.
Blitz.
Have a
Bye,
good day.
Blitz.
I'll be back in like 3 or 4 moons. It's a pretty short trip.
Right.
Where are you going?
Not the Bahamas.
What?
Not okay. So if we go looking for you, and we go to the Bahamas, you won't be there.
No, I won't.
Okay.
Oh.
I have to visit. I'm visiting a guy.
Are you
A
visiting
guy.
Finn?
No.
Did you just leave your dog there?
He'll teleport at some point.
Okay.
I reminded him mortality exists, so he'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I know. Listen, I know. Before we head off to, do our own things fairly soon. Um, I know I mentioned briefly before um, that I would have something for all of us to discuss at family dinner. Um,
Oh.
do we want to talk about it a little bit now, or would you prefer to wait until family dinner?
Um. What?
Consider. I'm gonna say, considering I'm not officially allied with some of the people that will be at dinner, I'd rather know the topic now.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, so let's see. How do I start this? Well, as you know, the Last Reckoning, Funny and Honey got themselves into a little bit of a pickle, at least on our side. They tried to frame you for their little prank across the kingdoms. Um, they took the majority of my most expensive possessions. I mean, hell, until I visited Levi earlier today, I was completely out of iron. I have 0 diamond to speak of still. Um, and that's not even speaking of what they may have taken from other people and what they may have taken from you guys. Um, and even before that, while before Honey came to visit and help the Flower Kingdom, um, while the Flower Kingdom was not very prosperous, Funny's been a little bit of a thorn in our sides, you know? Um, some idle threats here and there. From what I've been hearing from Ray, there's a bit of tension between them. And I think I've been thinking about this for a little bit, especially since the Last Reckoning. I think it would be in the best interest of all of our kingdoms to eliminate the pest, as it were. And as much as I would hate to do this, I do think that this would mean war. I didn't want to, spring this on you guys and take action without letting you guys know. I'll obviously let you guys know before I do anything, but I do think you guys should start preparing. Start armoring up, getting battle ready. I'm gonna speak once Finn gets back. I'm gonna speak to Finn and I'm gonna speak to Ray, since they're both technically indebted to me, therefore on our side of the fight. And I'll probably speak somewhat vaguely on it at family dinner. I wouldn't be going into as much specifics as I am with you guys. My husband and my brother, you guys deserve to know everything that's going to be going on. But I do think that the end goal is the hope that, at the very least, they will learn that we, as an alliance, right, and as even just separate kingdoms, aren't anything to be messed with. We aren't something that they can try to pin blame on or easily steal from, like they've recently done. So, like I said, I'll let you guys know once I go to do something decisive, whether that's, a fight that isn't on a day of reckoning, or some other sort of attack, but just be prepared and maybe plot things out on your guys' end. Think of what you might want to do during this, what could possibly benefit you in all of this.
Okay.
So, how do you guys feel? I know that this is a lot. How do you guys
no.
feel about
More particles.
this? Oh shit. I didn't even see that for a moment. How do you guys feel, especially now that I'm seeing the war particles? Yeah, how do you feel about
Excited.
this? Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're excited of all things.
I mean, if you think this is what is right, I'll follow you till the ends of the earth, so.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Aw, that's so cute.
Alright, get out of here! Little
I
mushroom.
have a boat to catch.
Get outta here.
That's so cute.
Little
I'm
fungal
gonna sink your
infection.
boat.
Hey, my boat. That's taking me to not the Bahamas.
Little fungal
I'm
infection.
sure you don't make it to the Bahamas.
Get him.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
I wanted to go to the desert. Do you know where the desert is?
I don't actually. Are they? They're connected, right?
Apparently, it's past the Spruce Kingdom.
How's the
So
Spruce Kingdom?
I didn't see anything behind that portal though.
Hmm.
Or I don't remember seeing anything behind that portal. And it wouldn't be this one. I don't know. Let's see. We'll see.
Oh yeah, the path does go further. At least on the map.
It does? What do we...
Huh.
There then.
Is it maybe just going further on the main path?
Maybe, but I don't know. I haven't
I mean,
seen
I know
any
that's
other
bringing us.
entrances.
Yeah, no, I know that's bringing us back toward ours. I feel like I remember it, but I don't know where. It's not gonna be it. What is this? I don't have a end portal either. I'm gonna have to go back to 8's potentially, or maybe go to Chisei's to access an end portal. That's something I'll have to talk with Levi and 8 as well. We wanted to go to the end so that we could all get elytras and stuff like that. But we don't because we don't have any of that. I mean, 8 has that end portal, but that's it. Skeleton farm. Yeah, this goes down to Chisei's. They've got a couple, yeah, they've got a couple different portals though. Huh. Yeah, we're gonna have to prepare for war. Because, as I mentioned, I've been thinking about this for a while. And they are just more trouble than they're worth, you know? It's not worth it to keep the peace. I feel like it'd be more worth it to show them that we mean business and that we will be taking action. I can't message Levi either because they can't read. Oh, there they are. Did you see it?
No, I haven't found anything.
Damn. I went all the way down and I didn't see it. Oh, Blitz is on the path, too. See
Blitz
that?
is
I don't know what Blitz
where?
is doing. Blitz is on the path back that way, walking around. I don't know what they're up to.
I want to ask if Blitz knows where it is.
Oh, that's a good point.
Shoot, I think they disappeared.
Yeah,
I think they went into a portal.
looks like it.
Maybe the skeleton farm? It's up here. Oh, the desert. Is this the desert? No. I mean, it's got this around it, so maybe.
We can at least check.
This was definitely near where he was.
Huh. Damn, I almost finished eating, but I didn't.
Oh,
Whoa.
yeah, this is the desert.
No portal.
See Blitz though. Oh shit. That's what happened last time I went through your portal. It got moved as soon as I went through it. Or like it put me back where it was, but then it like I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Where did he go?
I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe not.
husk.
Get the fuck away.
Oh, whoa.
That's pretty dope.
Want to investigate?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Blitz is inside.
I found Blitz. Are you trying to hide? What are you doing down here?
Hi, Blitz.
That's your room? You live under dark stairs?
What are you pulling a Harry Potter?
Yeah. Why'd they put you under the stairs? That seems inconsiderate.
Yeah, it seems a little cruel if you ask me with all this space.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense if you asked for it. Because, you know, the whole fox thing, but if you didn't ask for it, that's a little rude, but...
Yeah.
Oh, village right there.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Aw.
Looks like all their stuff's right here.
Yeah, right at the edge of the village.
Did Blitz overhear us wanting to come here, or did he come on his own volition?
He was looking around. I feel like he was looking for this place, but I don't know why. If he was, he might be trying to hide why.
Oh, there's the new portal. In the mountain.
Oh shit, yeah. I wonder where that spits you out.
Probably the same place. It looks close, but I don't know. There's been some portal trouble with people moving theirs. Kind of gets a little silly.
A little silly goofy.
Totally not sus. It's too bad that I can't mine. Oh wait, fuck. Uh-oh.
I got the...
There's nothing in this chest, so I
No?
imagine it's down there.
Down where? Oh, below?
Well, yeah. Get off the pressure plate. Oh, it's a lava trap. Okay. Yeah, that's not something we want to deal with. But not something we can replace either. Oopsies. Oops.
Bunny. I didn't see. Oh.
Did you just kill a bunny?
I did not. He just jumped to his death. On the bright side, I now have rabbit meat.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But, Blitz definitely saw us just commit a crime, so that's not as nice.
Well, I mean, we replaced it.
Yeah.
That's the meat I threw. It's okay. Not that it matters too much. The hair, I think, might be quitting.
Oh, already?
Yeah, they've been having origin issues, which is odd because the last hair, I don't know how much they were on, but they never mentioned anything. Like, they've been having power troubles. And
Gotcha.
it wasn't anything I could fix. And apparently it's gotten them killed a couple times, so it's gotten irritating.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Why did Blitz just go there and then run around and then leave?
I don't know. Blitz might be hopping from place to place looking at what people have, or they might have gone there for a reason and then didn't want to reveal it because we were there.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel irked.
Yeah. Definitely something to keep an eye out for. Oh, I know it's going on the trip for a few days, but once they get back, do we want to hit the end, like we mentioned previously?
Oh, yeah.
I thought about that earlier, because I don't have an end chest myself.
Yeah, I need shoulder boxes. I always carry too much stuff on me.
Yeah, me too. I want to get an elytra, too. I feel like an elytra with your powers would be boss.
Honestly, true, because I can't take fall damage. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I rely on my big legs, but I mean wings would be cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Would be cool. I really gotta bulk up if we're gonna talk about war.
Yeah, I have to do the same. If there's anything that I get in excess, and I don't think that I need the entirety of it, I'll drop it off at your place as well.
Thanks.
Of course.
I think we have a visitor.
Oh.
Sniped me.
So, good to know. They will just walk right in here.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting. I didn't realize that they were able to open doors, but they are.
That should deter them, hopefully. The only ones that should be able to fit through there now is a baby.
Yeah.
They won't attack us, so.
Yeah, true.
Alright, so I guess I will leave you to your work.
Yeah.
Alright.
See you tomorrow at the reckoning.
See you tomorrow at the reckoning. Okay. So let's put up some more paintings. I want to put some of the screenshots of us in the house as well. Let's see if we can do that. Enter a file path. I can do that. Let's do that. Let's see what I have for screenshots. I don't know why all my screenshots look like that. I wonder. I have an idea. Bear with me, bear with me. Um, Jesus, people outside are so loud. Okay. Let's see if this works. Copy link. Copy, 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 copy. I know that it'll let me do just like random online photos. But how did they do? Oh, whoa. I was like, that's weird. It gives you different amount? Painting's wrong. Okay. Let's try this. Oh. This is so cute. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh, that'd have to be huge though. Hmm. Here, let's try this one. Whoa. Oh, wait. There you go. Yeah, I just want to upload it first and see what this. That is hilarious. Okay. Um. Hmm. That one's really cute, actually. Okay, I think I'm getting the hang of this. Thank you for the gifted blitz. Thank you. Okay, okay, okay. We're gonna name this Party with Blaze. Oh, that's so cute. Oh my god, I fucking love it. Look at it. Oh. Okay, where do I want to put this one though? Shit. Oh, here. Ah, my boys. That's adorable. I fucking love that one. I need a good big one right here. It's gotta be 3x3, I feel. I'm gonna try this one again. Because I tried to do it the first time, and I tried to do it in like the really high definition way, and that just doesn't work. Yeah, see, we can do it 128. That's totally chill. That's so cute. Oh my god. 3x3. Oh, fuck. It's so goddamn cute. Oh, fuck, dude. It's literally the cutest. What can I say? I'm a family man. Ugh, okay. So I'm getting cute aggression. This is ridiculous. Okay. I should have... Yeah, I've got some dyes. I don't think it matters what the dyes are, right? And then... paper. I'm putting so many more paintings. I have to go harvest my sugarcane. I'm gonna start with the paintings and then at some point I'm gonna work on the rest of the shit. But a wolf in sheep's clothing is more than a warning. Alright, this is gonna be a 1x2 or whatever the fuck. We don't have any of those. Do I have a painting that would go good as that? Oh, you know what? I do. I do. I'm putting hella screenshots, bro. Oh, look at Dirty! Bro! Fuck. Oh, I miss Dirty. What a little lad. What does Dither do? Oh. What was it? 12% Dither? I don't remember what it was at. Oh, fuck. Look at the little lad. Okay, I definitely need a couple more paintings up here. And I need to still fill up the, like, floor space with, like, rugs and shit. But, we're on our way. Maybe you'll see. First and foremost... Who am I kidding? Let's not get overzealous here. You've always been a huge piece of shit. Ignore this. There's a trade gone wrong. That's all I'll say. Let's put these in here for now. Okay, so I have to stop by... I don't know who has an end portal. But or not an end portal, an end chest. But I need to get my my stuff out of the end chest. I need a pick. Alright, we're gonna make a super basic pick because I have to break into 8's place just so I can get my shit back. We'll leave everything as it is other than my stuff, obviously. But yeah, we're just gonna get my stuff and then come back. This way, yes. Oop, the lag. Yeah, I just left all my netherite stuff over here, so. We're just gonna fix that, because I broke it, and I'm not gonna be an ass and leave it. Okie dokie. Oh. Oh, beautiful. He got his dog back. He said that he was gonna have his dog TP here, but I didn't know if he was actually gonna do that or if he was just gonna leave his dog somewhere. So. Here we are. Beautiful. Alright, we have all of our belongings. Let's head back. I just want to stow away my most important stuff so that if someone gets on before I do tomorrow, I'm okay. You know? I might even be excessive, honestly, because Honey took a lot of, like, my big stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna fly. I'm sorry, 8. I'm cheating, but you don't want to break your mushrooms. Yeah, I might be a little excessive just because Honey took a lot of my, like, most important stuff already. But I don't want to repeat. Okay, let's head back to the house. What the fuck is happening? I am getting my shit back from someone else's end chest that I stupidly left it in, and then hiding all of my important shit, because tomorrow is an event where people are allowed to steal and pilfer their way through other people's houses. So, good shit. Alright, I'm gonna leave... I think. I'm gonna leave my armor on me. Oh, I forgot I had the paintings with me. So I can put some more paintings up here, huh? What other screenshots do I have? We skateboard. Bro, there's so many skateboards on campus. It's wild. Yeah, I just don't have an end chest here because I personally have not gone and gotten the shit for it. So, I just ran over to their place and... Are they doing tricks out there? I can't tell. But yeah, I just ran over to their place and used their end chest instead. Let's use this screeny. Why not? It's gonna ruin the quality a bit, but oh well. Oof, 5x3 though. Oh, and then it gets pixelated. Goddamn. What if we don't zoom? See, it looks the best with the pixel art option on, but then that takes the most blocks. Fuck. Okay, let's see. What's the biggest I can go here? 7 is how wide that was. I don't fucking know, dude. Well, let's see what we have as far as, like, 2x2. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. We'll go with the Esteemed Palace. That looks like dog shit. Hold on. Can I make it any better? There we go. 128 pixels. Hot. Sexy motherfucker. Look at you. Okay. I kind of want to put the small memories one above my bed. Actually, wait. Shit, I'd have to put it there. Get your ass down here. Stupid fuck. There we go. Look at that. That's actually really pretty. And then... See, what I tell you guys? So many fucking people with skateboards. Gotta commend them, though. They have so much balance that I do not. 2x1? Lordy, lordy, lordy. That's really... Ooh, wait, actually. It's really cute. We're gonna throw that. Maybe not there. Here? Yeah. Gonna chuck you here. You're gonna hut yuck there. Procrastination. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of paintings going on. We're gonna chill with the paintings. I'm going a little bit painting crazy. We're gonna take a breather. We're gonna calm. And we're gonna focus on the fact that tomorrow people can literally steal my shit. So let's hide some of our good stuff. That good. Okay, I also have to keep in mind that we're preparing for war. So what do I need to hide? My netherite. Emeralds, I don't really give a fuck about because I can't use them. Actually. I'm blanking. Is there anything I could use them for? No. Because, like, I can't trade with villagers, so that's kind of useless. Let's turn all of this into ingots. We're gonna hide our ingots and our blocks. We're gonna hide... Because, for whatever fucking reason, I can't find coal or shit lately. Although I do need to kind of go on a coal expedition, a coal and iron expedition. I'm gonna need, yeah, I'm gonna need redstone because of the war. Take the lapis. I'm just gonna go absolutely fucking ham. Let's see the fucking slime balls, dude. At least 2/3 of the fucking bones. I can get feathers because of my farm. I'm literally married to King of the Jungle, so bamboo is not a hardship. My brother is King of Mycelia, so mushrooms aren't an issue. Cobblestone I don't give a fuck about. Wood I don't give a fuck about. I'm in probably the most woodland based biome ever. Actually, I should make chests, because I'm filling my inventory with this shit, but I don't have chests to throw it in. Okay, cool. So we have the one vault down here. This vault is pretty obvious. Like, I mean, if you're just running around, you're like, oh wow, there's a light down here. I wonder what this is. Oh, there's a button? What the fuck? Like, that's fairly obvious, right? So this isn't that big of a deal. I've got some somewhat good shit in here. Power 1 and breaking 1 bow. This is really just like all backup shit in case I need to grab and go and I don't have anything on me anymore. But I want to make a secondary vault and I want it to be down here. Because I haven't done literally anything with this area. And I feel like it makes the most sense. Maybe right here? Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I want to make it inconspicuous. I'm gonna put all this stuff in here. Ooh, vroom vroom, goddamn. I should grab a torch, because I can't see shit down there. Yeah, let's grab a torch. I should also just grab torches in general for down there, huh? I also apologize if my, mic levels are all over the place. I've been fucking around with them, lately. And realistically, I should probably start over with them, just because I'm in a different space. But, you know, it is what it is. Okay. That should be good. Fuck. See, all of the- oh yeah, I'm definitely taking my marriage certificate. None of this feels like it's good. Because... I don't... Because I have better. So I'm like... I'm taking the food, obviously. I'm taking my bow. I take the torches. I don't need all these arrows, I only need one. Although it'd probably be good to have other arrows, just so if I lose this one, and also in case the other people I'm fighting with need them. I should bring 3 of my buckets. I feel like part of my vault is going to be dedicated to hiding my shit. I'll hide my golden carrots for sure, bro. And then... take this shit, because I want to make a nether wart farm. I want to get working on potions. I've not been doing that nearly enough. Oh, obsidian and honey blocks. Yes, the potions I've been nabbing from shit. And my music discs. Don't really care about the banner. Because of my origin, I can literally get a fucking ominous banner whenever I want. I'm an evoker, so, raids are, like, a walk in the park for me. They're literally, like, every other day for me. Because pillagers and shit just do not give a fuck about me. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna hide my marriage certificate, because, like, what if they get a hold of my marriage certificate? And then they're like, oh yeah, your marriage is actually null and void. I would sob. There we go. Ooh, this would be a good spot. It's okay, I'm gonna make it. There we go. There we go. I'm in the water, so it's like, okay, there we go. Okay. So this is the way in and out. I'm not gonna put a torch at the entrance. Like right here. Because I don't want to draw attention to it. Oh, fuck. I don't, like, what if there's explosions or something? Oh, that's really deep, actually. Never mind. We should be fine. I'm gonna have to find something to do with my allays. Because with the war, I don't want them to be killed or whatever. This doesn't need to be pretty either. Like, think of it as like a fucking bunker, you know? Think of it as like a panic room. Speaking of, there's a song Panic Room that I listened to non-stop one summer. Panic Room. Oh my gosh, yes. I listened to that song non-stop. That was the same summer that I went on a road trip with my best friend and my parents. Three, four. Okay, I want to make it odd. So then I can, you know? I'm gonna take the torch out of my hand when I leave and see how much light is bleeding out into the water. You know, see how easy it is to see down here. I definitely have to go on a mining expedition very soon. Okay. Torch out of hand. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're okay. Alright, let's start moving shit down there. Why don't we? Bring the chest. Like I said, I'll try to beautify it a little bit more at some point, maybe. Make it a little bit better. But for now, I'm worried more about keeping my shit hidden, you know? Okay, throw my potions in here. Yeah, I definitely want to get on the whole potion train. Because I have some healing potions from... I have some, like... I have this potion, and then I have, like, a couple other potions, that aren't here. I don't remember where they are. But, either way, I'd, like... It's kind of dumb of me to not have them, like... expanded, is, I think, where I was going with that. Like, I haven't been thinking about getting more. I don't know, it's been dumb of me. Yeah, I don't have to worry about the food. I don't particularly care about that. Let's go get the rest of it. Get rid of this with Nightbringer. See, I have a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes time to fight too, because like the majority of the people on the server have been able to what's the word? They've been able to like trade with the villagers for better whatchamacallits, for better better shit, but I have not had that luxury. Where did I put it? Here we are. I'm gonna put all this in one chest. Along with my music discs. I have another music disc, up top. There we go. Okay. Oh, here. My soul sand. Okay. That should be everything. Actually. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to like have some semblance of order. Order in the gourd. Here. There. Music discs. Okay. That's everything except for my pets. And my farm animals. I think I'm gonna hide my pets though, because I don't want them to like steal my pets. I don't know where the fuck I would hide them though. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll hide them in my towers. Yeah, okay. Come on, Wilson. Pussy. Come on, Ballerina. Let's go, guys. Where? I don't even know who I have on my... Oh, I have both of them on my shoulder. Okay, so I just have to worry about Pussy following me. Come on, Pussy. Hopefully they won't expect me to just chuck my animals in here. Oh. Ooh. Good boy, Wilson. Okay, Ballerina, we're gonna stick you in this corner, okay? You're going to be hay. Alright? Not behave. Be hay. You are the hay. Alright, bud? Is Pussy still sitting or what's going on here? There you are. What are you doing? What are you doing, bud? Come on. There you go. Alright. You're gonna stick out like a sore thumb, so we're gonna put you right next to the door, okay? In the hopes that they just bypass you, okay? You're also gonna be the first line of defense for the birds. Okay, I'm gonna really stick you in the corner. Okay. Yeah, hopefully they just don't come in here and look. Okie dokie. I have some of, I think, all of these, maybe, in the main vault. So I don't have to worry about replenishing stocks. Or stores, I should say, if they take that shit. I'm gonna throw all this excess food I have in the food chest. There we go. Put the cobblestone in there. Reckless love, living a life of crime on the run. And then weapons and tools. And miscellaneous. I really don't care about this music disc, but maybe I'll do something about it. I don't know. Okay, maybe we'll put it away. We'll put it away. I also should set my spawn back here because I've been sleeping in like everybody's beds. I'm a little bit sleepy when I go outside and visit people. What can I say? I pass out easy. Yeah, I should be ready for tomorrow. Once I put this disc away, I will pop back up to the surface and we will hop off for the night. Left unaware is the Lone Store owner. Won't go down without a fight. There we go. All right. Yeah, I definitely have to figure out a way to maybe hide some of the allays and some of the farm animals so I don't have to go looking for all of them. But oh, oh my god, I'm such a bad owner. I have not checked up on Wheaties and Wheaties and Petunia. Hi. I'm not gonna open the gate because I know you and you're gonna book it. Oh my goodness. Hello. I don't even know which one you are. Look at them. They look like they're doing great. Yeah, I'm gonna leave their berries. I'm just gonna leave them. They both look like they're doing great. Neither have despawned. Neither have escaped. It's beautiful. Buried at each other's side. Yeah, I'm gonna leave them to it. Let's head back into the house. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, so that'll be it for this stream. We checked in on the family. We saw what Blitz was up to. And might I say, Blitz got quite a bit done. It looks really good over there. We discussed the future of our kingdoms, and the future of what is in store on the SMP. We prepared for tomorrow's reckoning. And, yeah, I'd say that we got a lot done today. So, we are going to raid someone. Let's see who is live. We're going to raid someone to end off stream. Because that is what we do. Oh, it looks like Cheese's live. Oh, playing Bed Wars. We love it. Oof, in the thick of it too. Yeah, we're gonna raid Chise, aka Scarlet Cloud. Chise is the ruler of the mangrove swamps. She's a witch, and I am her editor. So if you ever see her on TikTok, that is my work. You know, not to toot my own horn, but boop, boop, boop. But yeah, we're gonna raid Scarlet. I hope you guys enjoyed stream. If you did, and you haven't already, feel free to follow. Every time one of you guys follows, you get your name in the lovely follower notebook, which I can't show you guys at the moment because we are not using the webcam. But once we hit 420 followers, I open up the follower notebook and show you guys all of your lovely names in there, just as a sort of checkpoint, show you guys how far we've come. And once we hit 420 followers, I will do a high stream. She switched screens. Let me make sure that she's not getting off. Oh, she's raiding out. It's okay. This is why I always have a backup. She's gonna be too fast, which is why I'm not gonna do a raid train. Otherwise I would. But yeah, once we hit 420 followers, I'll be doing a high stream where I will take an edible or two and play Minecraft or something high, which I've never done before. Um, truthfully, I've never been high before. I've been tipsy, but I've never been drunk or high. Oh my god, that's so funny. Cheesy, I really hope you're looking. That is so funny. Thank you for the 17 months. Happy 17 months, actually. Holy shit. Hey, Ray, how's it going? Um, you were like the one person that we were missing from the from our little alliance today, other than Finn, but Finn doesn't count because they're on a trip. But damn. You missed it, Scar. I was gonna raid you, but I knew that you were going too fast. I wouldn't have gotten to you in time. Um um I said it to I was like, "Oh, let's raid Scar." And then I was like, "Wait a minute. She switched screens. Is she out? Is she out for the night?" Ginger bean. Ginger bean. I just accidentally typed Gengar. Oh, that's so funny. Ginger bean. Oh, ooh. It's a really picture. It's a really picture. Really pretty picture. Oh, Tifa. I feel like it's kind of fitting to raid Tifa since I edited a whole ass clip of Tifa today. If it'll load. Good shit. It feels so weird to be emoting and making faces and stuff and knowing you guys can't see, but just like my hair is so porcupine-esque. Like, it's so bad. I'm filling the space while I copy paste Tifa's username, because every time I use the automated raid thing, it does not work properly. Why? I don't know. I break the system. It's my fault. The system's just not made for me. What can I say, guys? I always fuck it up. Literally, that's why I just like type it in. Or I copy paste it, because it's so much easier. And I know that it's gonna work, unless it's like the person ended just before I was able to raid them or something. But yeah, just to clarify, we're gonna raid Tifa. I hope you guys enjoyed stream. Thank you for the raid. Hope you guys enjoyed the little bit of hangout time that we had. Oh, that felt nice. Sorry, I cracked my back. But yeah, we just hung out and got some good SMP shit done. We talked a little bit, alliance member to alliance member, discussed the future of the alliance and our future on the SMP just a little bit. We will likely do that more again tomorrow, since tomorrow is the Reckoning. I prepped for the Reckoning, hid all my good shit, because I swear to fuck, if someone gets a hold of all of my iron again, because I'm still 0 diamonds. I'm all out of diamonds now. But I swear if someone gets a hold of all my netherite again, I'm gonna sob. I'm gonna absolutely piss, and not in a good way. But yeah, hit all my stuff. We should be set for tomorrow. If all goes well, I'll be streaming tomorrow, so you guys can see me snooping around and finding some good shit in other people's bases. You know what? You're right. I am a little piss boy. I am a little piss boy. Loud and proud, okay? I would piss anyway. I'm just gonna admit it. But yeah. So we should be ready for tomorrow. I don't know how things are gonna go tomorrow. A lot of people on the SMP said they aren't gonna be there tomorrow. So it might be chill. It might be our chance to truly snoop around and maybe get some good shit from people without some watchful eyes, you know? However, we might have maybe a spy or two at some point. You never know. So we'll have to be sneaky about things. We'll have to be careful. We'll see. So I'd recommend, popping by. I'll probably be streaming at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'd recommend stopping by, seeing what happens. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to follow. If you really enjoyed, feel free to subscribe.